control.
Because you're on cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
And welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We are glad you are along for the ride, and got a lot to get to, Les. Some big issues coming up in the automotive industry. Could affect a lot of drivers. And also, we got more reviews, technology. It's a full hour, isn't it?
It is that. And we starting off, by the way, with a story that everybody's going to love. Because California is testing the idea of requiring speed limiters on all new vehicles. Now, it is exactly what you think it is. Do you think this idea will pass and spread to other states? I have my opinions on it. My feeling, Fred, is that I will only allow you, if I don't live there, but if I did, I'd only allow that if you can force bicyclists to obey the traffic laws.
Depends
There
who
you
has
go.
a bigger lobby and who is
Never happened.
giving more money to the politicians. That's what I would say. Well, yeah, and we'll talk about this. It is an actual bill being proposed
It's
right
a
now.
bill.
Cadillac shows off some very cool vehicles, including the CT5V and the CT5 incredible 600 plus
Yes.
horsepower Blackwing. These are both
Well,
great vehicles.
Cadillac, it wants to be the premier brand, and they certainly are holding it.
Yeah.
And over at Honda, hydrogen power continues to grow with Honda for a fuel cell crossover, and Toyota is giving away 6 years of fuel, hydrogen, with every Mirai sale. Now, those that aren't familiar with the Mirai, it's actually been around about 5 years. And I drove one at the DC Auto Show 5 years ago.
Yeah. It
And, that's pretty cool. They had a big sign on their Mirai right now, as the show continues, saying you get 6 years of all the hydrogen you need
wow.
if you buy one. Pretty good.
Maybe they should do that for electric vehicles. Just have you never have to pay for electricity. So it's like you buy the car,
Well,
it costs more money, but you don't have to
you
buy
know,
fuel.
I could see a marketing campaign doing that sometime.
Well, here's a bad marketing campaign. A new study says most Americans cannot afford a new vehicle. They just can't afford it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a new infotainment system from Ford and
Yep.
Nissan. remember the Cube? Well, Nissan says
Yep.
it will restore your Cube at the factory. All coming up on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Well, folks, if you live in California,
We're sorry.
you may have heard that the state has introduced a bill to fit speed limit devices to your car. Now, a lot of states have speed limiting systems on trucks,
Mm-hmm.
on big trucks, and in Europe, you're limited. All vehicles are limited to 155 miles an hour.
Okay. Well, that's plenty
So
for the street.
it's enough.
Yeah,
Um,
okay. But
so
this is different though.
yeah, this is state bill, Senate bill 961. And Senator Scott Wiener, I'm not making his name up. Um, this is to reduce traffic fatalities. I just don't think this is going to work. But per the bill, every passenger vehicle, motor truck, bus manufactured or sold in the state would have to be equipped with a speed limiter. So, Fred, you've just put, you've just bought your C2 Corvette, real cheap, and you put a nice big block engine in it.
Right?
Um, and the bill is supposed to electronically limit the speed of the vehicle to prevent the driver from exceeding the speed limit by more than 10 miles per hour, which, with the big block in your Corvette, you can reach in first gear.
Huh.
So, what do you think?
I think it's an overreach by the government. I don't think it's very smart, but I worry that somebody will think it's a good idea, and then all the manufacturers will say, "Well, we'll just have to put it on all cars because we don't want to just make something special for California."
Well, yeah. Now, according to California traffic safety data, they said one-third of all accidents or crashes in the state are linked to speeding. But what they don't say, and I study this stuff, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at the NHTSA state by state information. Yes, speeding is a factor, but it's speeding at any speed ranges.
Yeah, you can be
It's not.
driving at
It's not
50 miles an hour
right
and driving crazy and hitting.
or 30,
Right.
and you hit, most crashes are low speed crashes.
Yeah.
So that, well, I just don't think broad scale fixes like this really have the effect that you think they'll have.
No, they're too simplistic, really. They're
Yeah.
too simplistic. Also, let's think about this. Many towns depend on speeding tickets
Oh
for
yes.
making
Oh
money.
yes.
So if you can say, well, I can't speed, then I don't know. I don't know. I don't think this will pass, although maybe it will. Maybe everyone just rubber stamps everything in California. I don't know.
Well, New York wants to do it, but they're a little smarter. They want to give fit speed limiters to vehicles from repeat offenders. And the repeat offenders have received 6 or more tickets in a year.
That's crazy.
Boy,
I mean,
that's
you
that's
really.
okay. I'll give you that one.
Well, why not just take their license away, though, at that point?
Why?
I mean,
Well, that's what happens in Virginia.
yeah. Do you know some states have an actual speed, like, it's kind of known at 10 over. Once you go 10
Oh, yeah,
over,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
potentially within the speed ticketing,
Right.
certainly a warning, but maybe a ticketing area. But certain states, nope, if it's 55, you have to go exactly 55. Isn't that weird?
Wow.
I mean, because you can't, there's accuracy. What if someone puts different tires on their car and they don't set their speedometer up, or
That's right.
it's just inaccurate. They bought a used car and they don't know it's just inaccurate. I don't know, but I think this is a dumb idea.
I just think you can
Too
do
invasive.
other things that are more effective.
Yeah, I think it's invasive and not effective. That's what I think. But well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it might be a place where everyone just says, "Oh yeah, that's good," you know, until the lobbyists get involved, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
then we'll see what happens. Hey, we are just scratching the surface here. When we come back, one vehicle that you probably wouldn't want a speed limiter on is the CT5 V Series, and if you want even more heat, the Blackwing version of that with 600 plus horsepower. We will be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Let us know what you think about California's plan for putting speed limiters on all vehicles. You would only be able to go approximately 10 miles over the speed limit. I guess that would have to be something sophisticated. If you're going through a 50, you can only go 60. If you're going through a 65, you can only go 75. Don't know. But how about vehicles that can probably easily break the speed limit? And let's talk about, CT5 V Series from Cadillac, 2025 model revealed this week. So for 2025, CT5V New front-end performance design, wider, lower appearance, redesigned grille, redesigned Cadillac stacked signature vertical grille lighting and LED headlamps, walk up and walk away lighting choreography.
There's a new term.
Lighting choreography. It's big in electric cars, I know.
There you go.
3 new colors: Drift Metallic, Deep Space Metallic, Typhoon Metallic, and then a lit Cadillac crest on the back of the 33-inch diagonal LED display that comes welcomes the driver upon approach. And quad trapezoid exhaust tips. It's a good-looking vehicle.
It's handsome. Looks aggressive.
Looks aggressive.
It doesn't look menacing.
No.
Looks expensive.
I'm sure it is.
Yep.
I'm sure it is. So you talk about that. The CT5V has a 3-liter twin-turbo engine. Now, if you want to step up to something more, the twin-turbo engine, by the way, has 360 horsepower, 405 pound-feet of torque. But if that's just not good enough for you, how about the Blackwing? The Blackwing CT5 has a 6.2-liter supercharged V8 with active fuel management and direct fuel injection. Good for 668 horsepower, 659 pound-feet of torque. And it's available with a 6-speed manual. How rare. That's a collector item right there. Right?
I think like 2 people will buy that.
That is a collector item, and you can just go probably auction it right off. Or an available 10-speed automatic. Pretty cool stuff. Of course, Blackwing was the name of an engine they brought out with the Hot V, with the, was it supercharger in the V, or was it turbocharger? I forget, was it supercharger turbocharged? But that engine went away after a very short time frame, but the Blackhawk name remained. So, pretty slick cars. These look like some fun cars.
That's right. Standard launch control, by the way.
Yeah. You know what?
Standard everything.
You know what I always thought would have been cool to have a Cadillac ATS, the small an ATS V. That was the small sedan,
right,
with a lot of performance, and it was, of course, their BMW 3 Series competition, but it never gave it much competition, but it's still a cool vehicle. But hey, a couple of interesting cars from Cadillac, and I think they'd be a lot of fun. Something totally different, Les. Honda announced they're going to have a fuel cell version of the CR-V, the Honda CR-V hydrogen fuel cell EV, in 2024. They've begun production of the next-gen hydrogen fuel cell systems with General Motors, and it will be on a hydrogen-powered CR-V-based platform. What do you think about that? That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
Actually, it is pretty cool. It's going to be assembled at the Acura NSX assembly plant in Ohio, because they have lots of space for that.
Yep.
Not many people are buying the NSX, but I got to drive the Honda Clarity hydrogen fuel cell, and that was 16 years ago.
Wow.
And it was terrific. It just drove. It was a really nice car, and it drove great. So this would be interesting.
I think we will be seeing more hydrogen development coming up, and a couple of our next stories talk about this. Toyota, the Mirai, their dedicated hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, is available now and it comes with 6 years of free hydrogen fuel.
That's great.
I tell you, what way to get somebody to buy it? It's like, hey, you can buy it for free. I guess they also figure out if there are hydrogen providers in your area, right?
Oh, they must. Um,
I wonder.
I'm sure it would.
That's something we'd have to look into. Have there been more hydrogen filling stations developed?
Well, um, maybe if there aren't filling stations, maybe they have a deal with the local gas supplier. Every town has a gas supply company
Mm-hmm.
to put the fill nozzle onto tanks of hydrogen, pressurized tanks, liquid hydrogen, so you could fill it up.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting idea. And if that's not enough, 2026 will mark the debut of a hydrogen powered team at Le Mans. There'll be a whole class
Yep.
of hydrogen powered vehicles. Talk about torturous testing.
Yeah. If they hold together during Le Mans, you could pretty well figure out they'll do real well in your daily driving.
Do you think we don't hear much about it because, you know, many times government wants simple solutions, just one page solutions. And they
Right.
talk about electric, electric, electric. So far, that hasn't gone to plan, really. But do you think they will think about hydrogen and think about it as, just something else in the mix? Clean gas powered engines,
Yeah.
electrics, and
Yeah. Absolutely.
hybrids and plug-in hybrids and hydrogen power.
Absolutely. And there's a whole not an industry as such, but there's a whole movement in the collector vehicle area to ultimately modify a lot of collector vehicles to hydrogen. You don't need to change anything. Well, you don't need to change the engine.
Yeah,
You simply have to change the intake system and
I
put a tank.
I thought about that, and the tank could look like a gas tank. You
Right.
could
Yeah.
make it look
Sure.
like a gas tank to keep it original looking, right?
That's right.
If you
You
wanted
could
to.
just put the hydrogen tank inside of a dummy gas tank.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very interesting. I think it's
Sure.
it's certainly a thought, and I love to see. It would be fun if someone at SEMA built a hydrogen powered hot rod. Maybe they have. I don't know.
Oh, they must have at some point. It's anyway.
Anyway, but interesting discussion on technology and where we see it going. We got a lot to get to on cruise control. Don't forget to check us out on our Cruise Control Radio Facebook page and our YouTube page. A lot going on there. If you miss an episode, you can catch up or leave us a message in the comments about something you'd like to hear or what your thoughts are on hydrogen for powering classic cars or race cars or whatever. When we come back, a new study. Americans can't afford new cars. Most can't do it. When we come back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. We are going to talk about how much it costs to own a new vehicle and why most Americans can't afford a new one anymore.
Yeah, it's
Which
pretty
we've
sad.
worried about this for quite a while, Fred.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
sad, actually.
It is. It's
This is according to data shared by Copilot, and it says new car prices have risen 30% in the last 4 years. And when you consider that only 10% of all vehicles sold in the United States cost less than $30,000, it's a wonder Americans are keeping
right.
their cars for longer. And this weighs into
Well,
everything. I mean, people are like, why don't people buy electric cars? Well, they're 80 grand. That's why.
sure.
Why'd they go for the Chevy Bolt? Well, that, was around 30 and then you could get the
That's right.
discount.
And why aren't if manufacturers know that the average household income is a little less than 80,000 and the average new vehicle is 48,000, why aren't they marketing more lower priced vehicles like the Toyota Camry and so on? Why are they getting rid of sedans, less price, and going to SUVs instead? Well, I mean, I guess one reason is that even though people can't afford them, they want SUVs,
Right.
that's I don't know. I don't understand that problem. I don't understand that. But so, what do?
Well,
Um,
I mean, let's face it, they make money off of financing. So
oh yeah,
you finance it for, you're financing a vehicle 8 years or more, and it's not even
yeah,
worth what you're
90
paying for.
months, 90 months,
Right.
um, and that's boy is that dangerous because you're upside down on that loan after 3 to 4 years. And if that car gets lost in a flood or crashes and is totaled, you're screwed.
Yeah. I guess the only way they look at it that way is if they lease cars, whatever, they're generating affordable cars by making used cars.
Yeah, because you stick with a 3 year lease,
And you have a good
get
used
rid of it.
car.
Yeah.
You have a used car that will bring some good money on the secondary market. So I don't know, but I don't know what the percentages of people that finance cars or lease them or buy them outright. Um, there are still great vehicles that are sub $40,000. There are many choices less than 40, right?
Well, there are. But again, if it's not an SUV,
Or a pickup truck.
then or a pickup truck, then the people aren't interested in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the latest figures, the average price of a new vehicle sold in America is around 48,451, more than a base model BMW X3. So clearly, Americans can afford new cars and nice ones at that point. But why? So why are they doing this? So according to this Copilot, and they cited MarketWatch, American buyers need an annual income of $100,000 to purchase a car. But the research found that the average income in American households is estimated at around $80,000, a little bit over it. And the data suggesting that new cars aren't too expensive. Americans are not being paid what they were 20 years ago. And based on MarketWatch data, more than 60% of American households can't afford to purchase a new car, which even rules out cheaper vehicles like Toyota Corolla and Nissan Versa. 82,
um,
if you're single, 82% are earning less than $100,000, and they really can't afford any new car.
Guess what, Fred? I just looked up what percentage of people lease rather than buy.
Uh-huh.
Up until 2020, it used to be one third of all purchases. It is now 17% because the leasing rates, because of the interest rates, the great uh, economy going on, the interest rates have gone up, and of course, so does the leasing rate. What a mess.
Yeah. Yep. Um, so between November 2019 and November 2023, average new price in America has risen
Yep.
$10,000. So they
Well,
said,
that's right. And
they,
by the way, I did research on this around Christmas time. The very fact that you're buying an SUV, just the SUV ness of the vehicle, that adds $5,000 to the price of it.
the
It's
SUV-ness.
pure marketing. There's nothing to do with the vehicle. That every manufacturer just does it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the look people want. And
It's
this
what
article
people want.
goes on to say, like Mazda had a cheaper CX3 and they got rid of that and made a CX30
Yep.
because people were ignoring the smaller CX3.
Yeah.
It's something nice about a small vehicle. You can park it
I
easily.
yeah. And it doesn't have to be tiny, but it
No.
just nimble, small-ish. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be 6.5 feet tall.
Hey,
And
I bring the when I know I've got to park in a tight space, I bring the vibe.
sure,
Especially
yeah,
if I have a large press car, it's like, you know what? It's going to be easier to park. So I'll bring the
much
vibe.
easier.
Yeah. But there you have it. So that is what is going on in the auto market. It's not the best thing. You can still buy a lot of vehicles in less than 40 and less than 30 even.
Yeah.
The other thing too, I think people just buy the top of the range. I don't think people buy
Well,
base
that's
model.
true too. Um, uh, I have just felt that this for years that this is not sustainable. I don't see how it can be.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But
interesting stuff. Interesting stuff, and we'll stay on it here at Cruise Control. Um, let's talk a little tech, shall we? And this is about Ford's new infotainment system. One of the things driving up the costs are infotainment
mhm.
systems, but they have the all new Ford and Lincoln digital experience that promises to be 5 times faster than the current system, and it is also going to be based on Android operating system, like Volvo, which will have the
That's right.
built-in Android, the built-in Google Maps. So you really won't need Android Auto anymore because it's there already. But you will have Apple CarPlay, unlike GM that won't have Apple
Right.
CarPlay.
Boy, somebody's making a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big mistake, and I think they might roll it back now that they had a floated a test balloon. So apps downloaded on Google Play like Spotify, where you can hear Cruise Control's podcast, by the way. Amazon Music, Prime Video, and YouTube allow passengers to stream their favorite content on the go. The other thing they're going to have is gaming, Bluetooth enabled gaming controller. So when you're charging your vehicle, you can play games. And the name of the game, I wish this was a band name because it'd be cool. Asphalt Nitro.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow.
It's a Ford exclusive, Les. It's a Ford exclusive. Cool name for a band.
Asphalt Nitro. That's a great name for a band.
Yeah. Uh, so that kind of comes from Tesla. Remember, they did that where you could play games and use the steering wheel of the car.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to only be available on the Lincoln Nautilus, but it will spread to other vehicles. The project name is T3, and it will get over-the-air updates, so you'll always get the latest in entertainment. Um, so what do you think? So Android built in. So I don't think people that have Android Auto are going to be upset about that. You'll still be able to send directions from your phone. You'll still be able to use that.
Right.
And you'll still have Apple CarPlay in the Ford system. GM, I think that's a big problem, deleting it. But
It's going to be a big problem.
hey, when we come back, we'll have more cruise control. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. A lot of reveals this week. The new 2024 Subaru Solterra was updated. Faster charging, new features, and no price increase, Les.
No, it's amazing.
I like that. Starting price $44,995, right around that average, isn't it?
Right there. But Subaru is a really good company.
Symmetrical all-wheel drive, of course. 8.3 inches of ground clearance. That's not bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
Yeah. And the Subaru Solterra will qualify for applicable federal tax credits of $7,500 for some owners. I think they should make it for all owners, frankly. But
Well, they should, but that the rules are very complex.
yeah. Solterra's high capacity lithium-ion battery pack has been improved for fast charging. It can replenish the battery from 10 to 80% in as little as 35 minutes, with a state of charge indicator displaying the estimated time to 80 to 100%. Can also be charged in temperatures below freezing, faster than its predecessor, up to 80 minutes faster in certain conditions. Interesting. All new eyesight on the vehicles. This Solterra can travel in its lane at up to speeds up to 25 miles an hour with only driver supervision, including stop and go traffic. It can also change lanes on command by activating a turn signal, and in addition to that, it has front cross traffic alert, making pulling into an intersection safer by alerting the driver of potential collisions. So, new upgrades, no price increase, not bad when it comes to that. Of course, that is a vehicle they share production with Toyota, right? Another one.
That's right. Yeah.
So, let's draw on your memory banks. Do you remember this vehicle?
Of course.
The
I used to call
Nissan
it
Cube.
I used to call it the clown car.
Yeah. It very, very Japanese in its style, asymmetric style. The rear window, there was a rear window on one side, not the other. It was a time when cube-like vehicles became popular. We had models from Kia. We had models from Toyota, Scion, the Toyota XB for box.
Right. Honda Fit.
And the Cube. And then they all fell out of favor. The only one that's still actually made is the Soul. But what if you have a Cube and you want to restore it? Well, there's a Resto Mod service that from Nissan, the Nissan factory, that will reimagine it. Customers are able to buy a Resto Modded Cube directly from Nissan. Customers can choose from several packages divided between custom and refresh styles. So refresh focuses on giving it a showroom fresh look. Cosmetic parts that age over time or replace includes carpeting, interior trim, exterior components such as headlights, rubber trim, and wipers. If necessary, Nissan will also replace damaged or worn parts. But if you want something more, buyers can go down the custom route, which lets them choose from various custom accessories and modifications, including a two-tone paint job, a funky 3D cube graphic, color-coded hubcaps. You can also get classy leather upholstery to uplift the black plastic cabin. And if you don't feel like paying for the entire package, Nissan will sell accessories like a roof rack separately. You can go from all out You can expect to pay about $11,400. This is in Japan. And for the fraction of the cost, an average cheaper than the average cost of a new car in the U.S. The Cube Restoration Service is exclusive with just 20 units to receive the treatment.
Yes, well,
It was introduced, by the way, in 2009 in the U.S.
wow.
Taken off the market just 5 years later. So I ask you, Les Jackson, is this something that other manufacturers should consider to rehab cars? If people are
Why
keeping
not?
cars longer, maybe they say, hey, you know what? We'll fix those faded headlights. We'll fix your upholstery. We'll maybe upgrade the headlights, and we'll fix all those things. And it's,
Well, and dealers would love it because, it would be a dealer level thing.
yeah, maybe
Um,
maybe
and,
upgrade
and
the
they could
head unit.
sell you, but, sell you more stuff.
Yeah, maybe upgrade the head unit. I don't know.
But for people who really like their car and it's got a lot of miles on it, it's all scratched up, to pay $20,000 to have it refurbished.
Wrapped, maybe put a wrap on
That's
it.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, interesting. And in this case, it was only 11 grand for everything, and you freshen it up. I don't see many cubes. You said you saw a cube.
I see them, maybe once a year. I mean, I know there's one around here that is close enough that I see it
You know
more
what?
than once.
You know what? This would be good for with Honda with their Element. Remember the Element? That was
Oh
another.
yeah, that's right.
People love those things,
They did, yeah.
and I think that might be good for them too. Maybe the plastic bits that wear out. You refresh
Exactly.
it, and I like the Cube. It was like a funky little car with a furry dash mat. I don't know why that was there, but I
Oh
didn't
no,
understand the styling because it was very Japanese. But you could throw stuff in there and drive around in it. And once again, I think they thought this would be vehicles for the youth. They'd find it fun and interesting. And typically it was people our age that bought it and thought, well, it's a box. I can put stuff in it. And that was it. And asymmetric styling has always been a little bit weird.
which catches your eye. You don't forget seeing it.
Yeah.
It was
It's burned.
cute. It was goofy looking, but it was cute.
It's asymmetric catches your eye. You don't forget it. It's burned. It's seared. It's
That's
seared
right.
into your memory. You can't get it out. So I don't
Yeah,
know. But I do like the concept of factory rebuilds. We've seen this on the high end,
right.
of course, with
Yeah.
Jaguar and
Mercedes has done it for
Mercedes.
many, many years.
Yeah, but we've never seen it at a lower. It could be a great. It could be a great revenue stream for dealers. I
Could
think.
be.
And it's easy stuff. You're not pulling engines and things like that. So I don't know. But we'll leave that to our listeners. What do you think? Drop us a comment on our Cruise Control YouTube page or Facebook page. What do you think? Is this a good idea? If you had a car you liked, would you put 10 grand into it and maybe get new headlights, a new interior, maybe
Yeah.
some cosmetic fix-ups like a wrap or something like that, and keep it going? Who knows? Well, we want to hear from you. Hey, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road. Take care.
Bye.